cacti and succulent growers, it's Lynn. And in today's video, this is a bit of an update on the cacti and succulents that I have here in my polytunnel. And I've been meaning to do a proper update for a while, but I just haven't had chance. And this is probably a bit of a quickish update because I don't want to be too long of a video, and I want to probably give the plants a bit of a cleaning up and rearrange before I do a whole collection tour for the spring. But I just want to show you what is coming into bud and what is blooming, and also just an update on the cactus plant losses that I had from the winter. Unfortunately, I've had a couple more cacti I've lost, which I'll show you in this video. But first of all, I'm going to start on the good news. And I have got quite a few that's coming into bud, which I'm really happy about. And this spring has been very tough because it's April now, coming almost into the third week of April, and the weather has been very, very cold for April. We're still having below freezing temperatures overnight, many of the nights. It was only 3 Celsius last night, and they forecast 3 Celsius tonight and -1 Celsius next week as well. The daytime's barely getting into double figures, as in the Celsius temperature, so it has been so cold. And because of that, I've not given any of my desert cacti any water yet. People are saying to me, Lynn, when do you start to water your cacti, and have you started to water your cacti yet? And normally I water sort of the end of March, certainly the beginning, certainly by the middle of April I would have given the cacti a bit of watering for the spring. But as it's been so cold, especially of a night time, I haven't given them a scrap of water. However, saying that, I have been watering some of my succulents, such as the Haworthias and Gasterias, and some of the aloes as well, because they are sort of have been winter flowering. I've had to still keep up a bit of watering with them, so them I've been watering. And some of my succulents as well, I've been topping up with a bit of water, just enough to stop them from shriveling. The succulents are a bit of a mess at the moment because I've got a lot of these dried leaves and I have to remove a lot of these, which I'm going to be doing this week. But they're doing well, and there's many coming into flower, which I'm going to show you in this video. And the majority of all of my other cacti has come through the winter absolutely fine. And so the Lophophoras and many of the others absolutely perfect. My Matacanas have took a bit of a hit from the cold, and I mentioned that in a few videos. I lost a Matacana only the other week, completely just turned to mush. I've got a couple more in my grow room and they're doing okay. This is one that had the orange scabbing on it from the cold damage, the same as this one, but it's starting to go white now and it's completely hard, so I'm hoping it's going to survive. I think it's more aesthetic, and I don't think there's any signs of rot, but I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. But most of them, have to say, come through fantastic, and very shriveled, a lot of the cacti. I'm just going to show you this for an example. These are some of my Trichocereus, very wrinkly. They need to be watered very soon, but unfortunately, until these really cold nights go away, I'm going to hold back on water because I have a heater that heats this polytunnel to about 5 Celsius, so it keeps them frost free. But it's still very cold temperatures for April, and cacti need the heat as well as the sun and the lighter days to produce buds. So I'm not, I'm well behind. The cacti, I should say, are well behind with producing buds this year, and I know a lot of people who grow cacti have also noticed this, including many people who live in the States. It's been a cold spring for a lot of people. But saying that, and despite not giving any of them any water yet, I've got some good news. I'm going to show you first of all what is coming into bud. Now I have here one of my Gymnocalciums. This is Gymnocalcium Mahina Vinci, and there is 2 flower buds forming, as you can see, so very excited about that. And I also have one of my Prodias, a Prodia atonis, that's coming into flower bud. All of my other Gymnocalciums are still pretty dormant at the moment. Some of them are starting to show a little bit of signs of new growth at the top here, but they're pretty dormant as in producing buds. They really do need the heat, and I think once I start them up with the water as well, they're going to then burst into bud. And these are all my Ferrocacti, and they've all done pretty good except for this one here. This one I think is a Ferrocactus glucoscens, and look how yellow it is, and that's been, I'm pretty sure, from the cold damage. It's just on the one side, which is odd. The other side's okay. It looks almost pretty like a variegated one, but it's not meant to be that way. And it's not soft, it's still hard. So I'm just going to leave it and see how it goes. But I hate to say, I think it's one that's possibly going to be a goner. But all the others are pretty much good. And then on this table here, I have a lot of my Mammillarias. And they've overwintered absolutely fantastic. They're very tough, hardy plants, Mammillarias. And they're still, none of them have come into bud except for this one, which I'm really happy about. This one is my Mammillaria campetrica, and it is in bud for the first time for me. A little ring of buds all around the top there, which I'm mega excited about. And the reason why it's got this green powder on there, it's called Bordeaux powder, and in the winter I noticed it had a little bit of browning on it. I wasn't sure what it was, but I treated it with Bordeaux powder just in case it was rust fungus, and it seems to have stopped it, whatever it was. And happy to see it all coming into bud. This is quite shriveled, and because it's in bud I may have to give this a water. And it's a bit of a dilemma when you've got plants coming into bud and they're shriveling, because you want to start them up with the water, but the nights are still bitterly cold here in Ireland anyway, and I'm pretty sure it's like that for much of the UK. But I'll see how it goes. I might give it a wee bit of water, just enough to stop it from shriveling. And on this table here I have a mixture of a few different things. More Mammillarias, and these are my Spinosimas, and they're doing really well. No buds on them yet, but they will produce buds once they get into the watering and they get to feel that heat. Once it decides to warm up here, my Rebutia albipilosa. This is a gorgeous orange flowering one. I don't think there's any signs of buds on this. It's hard to see because it's covered in white. I would love this to bloom because it hasn't bloomed for past 3 years for me. This is one that does need a lot of heat and sun. It used to bloom a lot when I had it in my greenhouse when I lived in the south of Ireland, because it had a lot of bright light in the greenhouse. Sadly, this green polytunnel here does filter out some light. It stops them from growing etoliated and stretched out, but sometimes it's not enough to them to give the real sun that they need. Fingers crossed though, it might produce buds. Here are my other types of Mammillarias as well. And then here, very happy to say, I've got a lot of Camaceras and Camolobivias that are all coming into bud. These are very reliable little bloomers. As I mentioned, none of them have had a scrap of water yet, and yet they're producing buds, which is brilliant. This one is a Mediolobivia, little bud on there, and also buds coming on my many of my Camolobivia hybrids, buds on there as well. Buds, yay, buds. And more buds there, the little woolly bits coming out, the beginnings of buds, which I'm very happy about. More buds there on this, buds. Brilliant news. So that is exciting to see. It is signs of spring, even if it's been a bit slow this year. And these are my Camaceras silvestris. They always seem to come down with spider mite, which is why they look scabby. This is all the new growth that's recovered from it. And there's also buds as well coming on these, which is great news. Very happy to see buds on these. And also, yep, on this side here, not much really happening on this table here. I've got a couple of Echinopsises coming into bud. This is Echinopsis oxygona. I think it's Oxygona irisi. Can't tell because I've got two that look similar. But that's all big woolly tufts at the top there starting to come into bud. And then here on this table I have, let's check what is coming in. Yep, I have some more Robutias forming buds there. And another Robutia, little flower bud forming on there too, which is great news. And here I've got also more. Oh, this is another Echinopsis as well. At the top there you can see buds forming, and my big Astrophytum, that's got a bud on it there. I don't know whether it's going to stay on or fall off, but happy to see it's in bud anyway. And all the other Echinopsises are pretty much resting, but they will sort of wake up again once we get some proper spring heat weather. My Christmas and Thanksgiving cacti, a lot of these have grown from seed. These have been flowering again really late in the year. Everything seems to be late this year, so I'm not expecting the cacti to be blooming their usual times. I think everything's going to be a bit delayed, but these Thanksgiving and Christmas cacti have recently been blooming. There's still buds forming, as you can see, but they're doing well there. This one is my white flowering one, and that's sort of still in bud as well. It's crazy this year, guys. All my Lophophorus, they're doing well. They will soon come into bud as well once they get the heat and they get their first watering. And or ferrocacti, all different types of cacti here, overwintered brilliantly. And happy to see here. This is Neoporteria clavata, and that's got signs of new growth as well at the top there. It's a little green coming up. So things are starting to wake up in here. And very happy to say, as usual, my epiphyllums are all bursting into bud. This is my Epiphyllum Pegasus, and that has got loads of buds on it as well. Absolutely beautiful bloomer. And other types of epiphyllums, all different varieties there. Loads and loads of buds. They're really great bloomers and always the first to burst into bud. Loads of buds on there, as you can see, and on this one too. Really happy about that. So there's going to be an amazing display of blooms on my epiphyllums in the next few weeks, and they are truly magnificent when these bloom, guys. And I have my Aporophyllum here, Aporocactus, and that is packed with buds as well. Loads of buds, so that is amazing to see, because he's also a very beautiful bloomer too. Absolutely gorgeous. And just check, yep, there's also buds as well on my Aporophyllum as well. This one, Aporocactus flagelliformis, the name of this one. You can see all the buds on that as well, so that's going to be gorgeous in bloom very soon. So happy to see there is a lot coming into bud. I also have my Easter cactus, Ripsolidopsis. That one is bursting with buds as well. And this I have in the same basket as my Schlumbergia Buckley, the true Christmas cactus. I have them in the same basket. And I think I had a lot of people, when this, I did a video when this was blooming, Schlumbergia Buckley, and I said Christmas cactus in bloom, and a lot of people said that's actually an Easter cactus. I said no, it's not, you know. And I sort of fell out with a few people on Facebook that when I shared it on the groups, because they were insisting it's an Easter cactus, and I know it's not. But what I actually realised they were getting mixed up with, because it's in the same basket as my Easter cactus, and they were seeing the leaves and thinking that that was the same plant. There's actually two different plants in here, guys. This is my Schlumbergia Buckley Christmas cactus, and this one is my Easter cactus. Completely different, as you can see, and happy to see it is all packed with buds. So that's the cacti, what is coming into bud, and now I'm going to show you the succulents. Now here we go. This is my Kalanchoe Fedochenkoi, and it is bursting in bud. Gorgeous little bell-shaped buds here, and this has beautiful orangey flowers when the buds open up. Bundles and bundles and bundles of gorgeous buds, and it's a beautiful succulent, lovely sort of rosy coloured leaves, very lovely. So happy to see so many buds on that. And then here I have a mixture on this table of mostly echeverias, Graptobatalums, Graptevias, a real selection of everything. And it's a little bit messy on this table because I do need to spend some time in here and remove all the dead leaves on these because it looks unsightly, but they're doing well, and I've had to give these a little bit of water over the winter because they do shrivel so much, but not as much water as I normally would because it has been so cold. But happy to say these are waking up really lovely at the moment. And I have here a Graptobatalum. This is Graptobatalum aculis. And look at that little bloom, guys. It's absolutely gorgeous. So lovely to see the bloom on that. And also buds coming up on many of my other echeverias as well. Buds on the Echeveria setosa, blooms. And look at that beautiful bloom, guys. This one is Cotyledon, and it's commonly known as the bear's paw succulent because it has its lovely sort of felted little leaves. I'm so happy to see that is blooming. It's absolutely beautiful. And this is another Echeveria as well, all in bud there. Happy to see. I've also had quite a few that has been flowering over the winter. And this one here is my Crassula springtime, and that is in beautiful little bloom. Also little blooms as well, and many of my other type of crassulas. As you can see, a lot of them are very shriveled. They're going to need a really good watering again the next few days. So I might do a little video when I give these a good water and also remove the dead leaves. And loads of buds on this one as well. Very happy to see. Lots all waking up with the succulents. And as I mentioned, my Haworthias, Gasterias and agaves. Some of these have been flowering through the winter too. And I didn't come in to make a video because it was just so cold. I literally just came in to check on the plants, how they were doing. It just wasn't warm enough, and just didn't feel like going in here to film during the winter when they were flowering because it's just bitterly cold. But they've come through okay, and these as well really do sort of plump up once I give them another good watering in the next few weeks. More succulents here as well. These have got through the winter pretty much okay, which I'm relieved about. These are Dicea fosterianas, and they're actually part of the bromeliad family, like air plants, tillandsias, and I've had to still give these a bit of water over the winter. And these are amazing plants, I have to say. They're very cold hardy as well, so they're perfect for greenhouses. A mixture of more aloes and different types there as well. And this is my big old Thanksgiving cactus that is still in bud, and it's absolutely crazy. A lot of the buds dropped off because it was just too cold over the winter, but it sort of still got these buds on. I don't think they're going to open. As you can see, they're a bit shriveled. I think they're going to drop off. It's just been the most weirdest winter I've ever known, and the coldest spring so far as well. And all our punchias here, they're as shriveled as anything. They're going to need a good watering. But as I say, I'm holding back still on the watering because it's just so cold at the moment. And this table here, as I say, lots of different types of cacti. But they're pretty much done okay, considering. These are all my Trichocereus. And these are as hardy as anything. I mean, these are no problem at all. And they've overwintered perfectly. Happy days. So anyway, that's the update. Oh, hello, this is Lucy and Paula, my wonderful friend Paula. If you're seeing this, she wanted to see what Lucy was like. She's our neighbour's cat, and isn't she just gorgeous? Hello, Lucy. Do you want to say hello to the viewers? She is the most gorgeous cat, guys. She is, look at her. She's so loving. Hello, Lucy. Oh, isn't she beautiful? She is so friendly. She's just absolutely gorgeous. Hello, Lucy. And by the way, this is another one of my Mammillarias. This is Mammillaria formosa. And the reason why I've got it here is because it just keeps bending over. And I've made a video on why is your cactus bending over and that. And I just had to keep bending it all the way through, even all through the winter. So I've got it there where it's resting. I'm going to make a little cage for it to support it. So that'll be another video when I do. So Lucy, what do you reckon? So that's a bit of an update on sort of the good news of what's coming into bud and what's blooming. And now I've got a little bit of bad news, and that is I did a video probably about 2 weeks ago now where I showed you the cactus losses that I'd lost from the very cold winter we had. I was gutted to lose them plants. Managed to save the Mammillaria snowcap, as those of you who watched the video know. However, when I was in the polytunnel the other day, I found 2 more plants that have completely gone, and I'm going to show you what they are now. So here I am, guys. Sadly, after I made that video, oh, Lucy's back again. I found 3 more plants that have gone. And if you didn't watch the original video I made on the cactus losses from the winter, do check that video out. I'll link that video up above and down below in the video description. And these are more goners. And first of all, this I'm really gutted about. This is Gymnoclisium asterium, and this is one that I got from my wonderful friend Kath here on YouTube, Purple and Thorns. And Kath, if you're watching this, I'm very sorry. I don't know what happened. It seemed to have got through the winter pretty much okay, and then when I checked it the other day, it's completely gone. And it's hard as anything. It's that hard rot. It just literally gone. So I'm gutted about that. It produced the most beautiful flowers last year, as you can see here, and very sad to lose this. As I say, hasn't been watered at all over the winter, kept totally dry. And gymnos are usually pretty cold hardy, but I'm guessing this one might be a little bit more sensitive than the others. Hello, Lucy. Isn't she just gorgeous? And this is one I'm absolutely gutted to have lost. And when I did the first video about the cactus losses, this one was absolutely fine because I checked over all of the plants. So this has just literally gone like this overnight. This is a clyster cactus cristata, and hate the way it has just gone. As you can see, it's very brown and squashy. It's just a goner. There's not even any parts of it I can save. If there was any green healthy parts, I could at least save it and repropagate it, but it's completely gone. And I'm guessing the cristata plants, the monstroses, are probably not as cold hardy. I've had this a good few years, but it's just sadly too much for it. So that's gone. And it's a lovely big plant as well, and it's so sad. So that's another one, guys. Now this one as well is also gutting. This is one of my, I've got two of these, the other one is perfectly okay, but this is one of my Opuntia microdaces, and that's literally just collapsed overnight as well. I mean, look at that. This is a little succulent that's fell in there, so I'll be able to prune that out and pop that up. This is one little leaf left that I'm going to be able to propagate from this plant. I covered it in all diatomaceous surf, as you can see there, to prevent bugs, but it's just the cold. This is actually quite hard here, so I don't know if it's savable, but it's pretty unsightly anyway. I've got this little healthy part that I'm going to be able to pot up and have a cutting from. All the rest of it is just completely, it just fell apart. And funny enough, I've had a few people say that with their Opuntia microdaces. It's one Opuntia that is not cold hardy. I always thought they pretty was, because I never had any problems with them, but this winter was too much. So sadly, that's another three plants that have gone. And anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the good news with the update. Just show you, I've got my agaves in here. These overwintered absolutely fine in this unheated white little greenhouse. Very cold hardy plants, and they're looking really well, happy to say. And then I have one of my Rebusias here. This is good news as well. This is a Rebusia perplexa. Has beautiful hello Lucy, beautiful little pink flowers, and I'm pretty sure I can see the beginnings of little buds, new growth on this as well, bursting out, which is wonderful to see. This got spider mite a couple of years ago and it didn't really bloom since, but I'm happy to see all the new growth coming on the top of that. And I could see, I don't know if I can get close enough with the camera, but I could actually see very, very tiny little pink buds forming, and not sure if I can show you on here. Maybe I can show you with a photograph, but you'll see what I mean. Very happy to see that, and loads of new growth on that, so that's good news. And Lucy, what do you reckon? Oh, so guys, thank you so much for watching, and for lots more tips and tricks on how you can care for and grow cacti and succulents, then please do subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell, and do give this video a like. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon, and for more growing tips, do check out my website desertplantsofavalon.com. And if you could, before you go, please leave a comment in the video description down below, in the comments description, even if it's just a heart or smiley, because every comment really helps the algorithm. I want to wish you all, for me and Lucy, we both want to wish you all an amazing plant powered day.